I'd like to discuss pain. Pain is not caused from an injury or from surgery. When you have pain somewhere, it's because the tissue has become acidic. It's too dry, it's dehydrated. So when it becomes acid, then you have a sensing system, and these kindins register the acidity and it sends the pain message. So a way that you can prove to yourself what I'm saying is true, or that's, I'll back up one. If you know somebody, a Nikon distributor, or Nikon makes a little Magboy roller thing, and I don't have one to show you right now, but next time I promise I'll have one here, that you can take and you roll it over the area where you have this pain coming from. And when you roll this, it's a little plastic thing that's got two balls that roll on it, and they got points on it, and they're magnets. So you roll it over that area where you have the pain for a minute or two and stop, and the pain lessens or abates, because the magnets are making this positive charged tissue. It's making it negative charge, which makes it alkaline, and the pain stops immediately. And that's proving to you what I'm saying is true. So for those of you that have some pain, I challenge you to go drink some water, 2 or 3 ounces of water, which is not a whole lot of water. Stop and see take a minute and see how much the pain lessen if it's in your shoulder or your arthritis or your foot or knee. And see if this 2 or 3 ounces of water lessen the pain at all. Then suggest you take a little bit of salt. Doesn't have to be sea salt, just regular old table salt. Just put a little bit in the palm of your hand, then coat the end of your tongue and leave it there. Let it dissolve and see if this salt on the end of your tongue, because it sublingual, goes right from your tongue right into the bloodstream, just like with the water that you drank. 10 millimeters per second it goes through the tissue. So if you drink the water and it's in your mouth, very quickly that water goes to that area where it was dry. So the salt, see if it lessens the pain. After it dissolves, you give it a minute or two, then we suggest you drink some water to clean that salt off of your tongue. Then we suggest you take some sugar. This is sugar in the raw. It could be white, granulated white sugar, it'll work, or honey. Take a little bit, and you toss it and put it on the middle of your tongue, because that's the sugar section. You're going to let this sugar dissolve as long as possible. And the sugar will go very quickly to the area that's acidic, that's got the pain. You wait for a minute or two, and you see what the water did. One had a little bit of effect, or one was greater than the other one. Say that the salt really diminished the pain. And then we suggest, and it's covered in our book, that you take 8 ounces of water and you put a half a teaspoon of salt in it. You get it to dissolve. Then you take a mouthful and you swish, swish, gargle, gargle, and you spit it out. You wait for a minute or two, and then you take another mouthful and you swish, swish, gargle, gargle, and you spit it out. And depending on how much pain you have left or the severity of it, then you might take the 3rd mouthful and swish, swish, gargle, gargle, and you might swallow it. And if you swallowed it and it upsets your stomach, you feel a little queasy, then you can drink some straight water, or you can drink eat a little bit of food, and it'll stop this feeling, if you had that feeling. And if the salt didn't relieve the pain by a whole lot, and the sugar did, then we suggest that you take 8 ounces of water and you put a couple spoonfuls of sugar in it, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, or a dash of it, and you stir it up, and now you sip this on down, and you probably find that it'll 50% or totally relieve your pain. And we have testimonials in our book on this, how the water and salt and sugar worked for relieving the pain. So anyone you know that has severe pain, whether it's coming from cancer, that's another thing. They tell cancer patients to stay away from sugar because it's acidic and it feeds cancer, but you run on sugar. That's why you have a blood sugar. Remember, you've got cells in your body burning sugar 24 hours a day to maintain a temperature of 98.6, or you're in the morgue. But the problem is, when you burn sugar or carbon, it's the byproduct, the waste product. We call it oxidation, and it has to be neutralized using amino acids from the liver. And if it isn't neutralized, then you become more and more acidic. And this acidity, when it eats into the tissue in an area, this is what causes the cancer. It cranks out an abnormal cell, and when it burns into it, this is what causes the pain. Now, I know that some people have got pain coming from a joint. They need to have a hip or a knee replacement. But if you give the body what it needs, it'll regenerate the cartilage and the meniscus. So if you have pain in a joint, because there's testimonials in our book on people that needed hip and knee replacements, and when they did the sugar, the water, and the salt, then the pain lessened or totally went away. And when they started eating the right foods, giving the body what it needs to rebuild these areas, everything came back to normal. I know it sounds a little far-fetched, but we challenge you to try the water, salt, and the sugar and see what it does. If it works, then you know that what I'm saying is definitely true. And we encourage you to get our book, Goof Proof Health. If you haven't purchased the book yet, if you'll look there, you'll see there's a button, a thing that you can push on there to get your book. And we encourage you to share this video with other people you know that have severe pain, whether it's a hip or a knee, or even if it comes from cancer. You'd be amazed, someone that's got severe pain from cancer, when they take a little bit of water and the salt and the sugar, the pain is just wiped out right away. And that's covered in our cancer section in the book if you read it. People that had severe cancer and chemo and radiation, and the cancer just wasn't gone. And when they tried something so simple, just the water, salt, and sugar, and fruits and vegetables, and a little walking, their cancer goes away. So we thank you for your comments and your questions. And from all of us here at Goof Proof Health, thank you.